What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live. This is the coach. We are powered by the almighty SportsLine. It's hard to believe, but week number 3 kicks off tonight in just about an hour and 10 minutes. It's the Carolina Panthers on the road in Houston as 8-point favorites. Will be here all the way up to the top of the hour. We're going to be attacking the spread. We're going to be talking storylines. We're going to be talking totals. Also, a little Van Jefferson Memorial touchdown pick if you guys come through on your end. And then, of course, our award-winning segment. And here's why, where my guys will give their best, most important pick of the game, and they're going to tell you why. But we've got a lot to get to, so let's bring in the stars of the show. You know from the morning. You know from the afternoon. M Squared, what's good?
Not much, Coach. Just a normal Thursday night grind, getting ready for the big DFS showdown slate. Got some player props, got some bets for this game, and I might be the most excited person in America for Sam Darnold versus Davis Mills. I can't wait for it.
You might be the only excited person in America. But what's great about doing the show, and we talked about it before the season started, that once we got into it, that would feel like we were doing football every single day. And that's exactly what it feels like. But, man, isn't it fun, AB?
It's a blast. And I'll tell you what else is. I thought you had a new rap auto-tune intro there going at the beginning of the show.
Right?
It was awesome. I was down with it, man.
Well, I still get checks every 3 months, true story, for $18.02 because my entrance theme from WWE days is on a CD, and they still sell it, flea markets around the country. So I get $18 every 3 months, and it buys nothing. All right, so we're going to try some new stuff today. So here's what we're going to do. As you guys know, many of you who watch the show every single day, you got to pound that like button. It is so important. But here's what we're going to do. The first 100 likes, we're going to give away a year-long subscription. And for those who are already members with us, still do it. We're going to give an upgraded version if you win the sweepstakes. Then 200 likes, we'll give away another one. 350 likes, we'll give away 3. And then if we get to 500, then and only then will you get our Van Jefferson first touchdown score of the night. And as many of you know, we've given away 2, plus 4,000, plus 1,200, courtesy of M Squared last week. It was really, really nice. And then if we get to 600 likes, which I know we can, a free Early Edge t-shirt will be on the way to one lucky subscriber. Also, look at the bottom there. We are growing in leaps and bounds, and we thank all of you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're watching it right now. Hit the notification button. That way you know every single time new content is dropping into your feed. About an hour ago, we dropped our MMA show, our English Premier League show. For me, this is my 4th show today, but I love it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. All right, guys, let's get into storylines now. Panthers on the road tonight. This number started around 7. The public pounded it. The Sharps pounded it. It's now up to 8. M Squared, let's start with you. Do you like this number?
I do not like the number. I think that the Panthers should cover this. Like we all are expecting that, and they should. I just keep coming. This Texans team is not as bad as we want them to be. I know that there's obviously a major difference in that being Davis Mills starting over Tyrod Taylor. Doesn't have the mobility. It is his first start in the NFL, but they do have some decent weapons. Again, that line just isn't as bad as we think they are, right? So I think that Carolina should cover it. My head wants to go there, but I'm only making this game 7.9 in the simulation. So either we've got to really make some manual and really downgrade them because of the quarterback situation, or otherwise, which I prefer to tease the game, which I've done and did on the early show. But I actually don't like it at 8.5, 9. Would have had to have been 7 to 7.5 for me to get in.
All right, we're going to talk about that teaser a little bit later on in the show. AB, how much of a difference? Because most NFL teams now have a serviceable backup quarterback. I didn't even know Sunday when Tyrod Taylor got knocked out of the game who their backup was, and now he's starting tonight. How big of a difference will this team look in your mind?
It'll be a difference, but I'll say this. If you go back to when we had our NFL preseason shows, we talked about Davis Mills. We won money off of Davis Mills. This quarterback is not that bad, right? Like if you watch his delivery tonight, he gets the ball out fast. And this team likes to play quick. So do the Panthers. This could be a pretty quick style offensive moving game tonight. So while it is a difference, this guy can make a little noise. Like the first half is going to be very intriguing, especially against a defense of the Panthers who've only given up 21 points this entire year.
All right, so we want to know at home from you, do you like Carolina tonight minus the 8, or do you like Houston tonight plus the 8? Here's what we're going to do. In the comment section, leave a 1 for Carolina to cover, leave a 2 for Texans to cover plus the 8. And if you feel so inclined, you can also leave your Twitter handle. You don't have to, but we want to be completely interactive. Also, are we having audio issues? Okay, Edward's saying, I think we're good. Also, as you know, you can ask any question. We'll get to as many as we possibly can, whether it's on the spread, the total, but more importantly, on the props. Now, prop stars, Alex is normally here on the show. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, but he will be on our prop special, as he is always, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So when we look at Carolina guys so far through the first 2 weeks, they are 2-0 straight up. They haven't looked spectacular, but they've got the job done, and they've covered both games, including last week when we were all over the Panthers because Jameis Winston became Jameis Winston once again. M squared, is Carolina the team that's covered twice and is just going to rely on Christian McCaffrey passing and running? And if that's the case, we've seen in years past, he is injury prone. That could be a dangerous, dangerous game plan.
I mean, look, I think they're great. It starts with their defense. Their defense has been fantastic. We'll see how sustainable that is. You know, obviously short sample size here, but I'm very interested to see where they're at defensively come week 6, week 7 of this season. But yeah, I think that the other thing that we can't discount here is just how awful the New York Jets and that organization really is. You bring Sam Darnold to the situation, he's having more fun. Everything's more comfortable. He's surrounded by just a better environment overall. I love the weapons that he has. Obviously, no one's going to complain about playing with Christian McCaffrey, but let's not forget about Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Marshall. They've brought in the rookie here. I think that honestly, I think he's got a lot of weapons. It's all going to be, I know you mentioned about McCaffrey staying healthy. It's really going to be about that offensive line and Sam Darnold. They keep him healthy. I think this team is very dangerous. I think they're going to be someone that's going to be competitive against pretty much any football team out there because of the weapons that they have and how strong that defense is. So I do think they're for real. I think that the only cause for concern that I have really is that I think that collectively the public is so low on the Texans and has been so low on the Texans that there's still a lot of parity in the National Football League, and teams are, we're still talking about really good professional athletes. So I think that's my only cause for concern. Like 8, 9, that's a lot of points in this league.
It really, really is. We saw the Texans on the other side. By the way, ding, 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 ding. Got to stop the show. I'll get to you in a minute, AB. We now have hit over 100 likes very, very quickly. So we have a winner, our first winner of the day. At the Big E 89. At the Big E 89 is the new WWE champion of the world watching our show right now. Big E just got crowned last Monday night. Very cool. He's watching our show. Now we just okay, we have a question, apparently. DFS, real quick. Mikey, I want to jump right in. Wendy has a question. Stack rules on SportsLine. Mikey, take that one.
Yeah, I was going to add them here in a second. I don't have any specific stack rules like we have in some of the other slates. It's going to be just the generic. If you're playing Sam Darnold, you need at least 2 of his pass catchers, and including Christian McCaffrey in that group. And then with Davis Mills, I'm limiting to just 1. I think you see my captain exposure is pretty low there to him. But you do need to have at least 1 of the pass catchers stacked up there. Other than that, only 1 defense per lineup if you're playing the defenses and special teams, but no real specific rules as far as excluding certain players or max 1 of a group of 3, as the pricing doesn't really dictate that on the slate.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Let's go to the flip side now on Houston. And AB, to what Mikey was saying, last week against the Cleveland Browns, they jump out to a 14-7 lead, and they were very much in the game as 12-point underdogs. Then Tyrod Taylor, he gets injured. I thought it was over. I thought the Browns were going to pull away, but they were able to score 1 late touchdown and cover it, losing by 10. How much does the rest of the team need to help carry this quarterback, even though I've heard you guys say that he looks serviceable, he can fling it around, but then when that red light comes on, when the bright lights come down from the stadium, everything changes. Is this Houston Texans team good enough with a new quarterback to stay within that 8, do you think?
Well, I'll say this. M Squared always talks about correlations and correlated plays. Look, The reason that the Texans have been pretty serviceable so far this season is their defense creates turnovers, a lot of them, right? Like it's left their offense in good field position and good starting spots. If we see that tonight, absolutely. I mean, this team can score, but I really think that this game comes down to the Panthers offense, Sam Darnold and what they're doing. If Darnold and them aren't turning the ball over and the Texans have to go 80 yards on a drive, 75 yards on a drive, that's going to be hard against this defense. But if they get an interception or two, a fumble on the ground, they can get in this thing pretty quickly. So, yeah, I think that, to your question, there's going to be a need for help. And it's going to come from that defense creating turnovers. If they don't get them, they're not going to have much of a shot.
It's going to be very, very difficult. Ding, 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 ding. We've got another winner. We have just sailed past 200 likes, which is so important for our show. Our second winner, very early here in the show, about 15 minutes in, at Jeff T001. At Jeff T001. The jeweler will reach out to you on social media and give you all the details. YouTube question from Tina. Now, we had this issue with the Lions on Monday night, the team total, and it went under. We have around the same number tonight. It's been hovering in that 16.5 to 17.5 number. Let's say that right now it's at 18. Do we like Houston to come under that number? That's a question from Tina in the. Let's have AB. You take this one first.
Yeah, 18, that's a really efficient number here because you're looking at either 3 touchdowns or you're looking at 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. So, again, it goes back to the turnover factor. If they can get that and steal a field goal or 2 in the first half, absolutely, they could smash that thing. If they're going to have to go on long, sustained drives, it's going to be tough. Because you're going to look at Carolina is going to force a turnover too. And if you're looking at an NFL game, M Squared, help me here. In an average game, a team has 6 to 7 to 8 offensive drives in a just normal, NFL game, right? So if you're looking at 1 to 2 possible turnovers, 2 to 3 punts, I mean, they're going to have to be incredibly efficient there. I would play the under, but I don't feel great about it. Mike might have a better answer than I do.
Yeah, for me on it, I think you need to ask yourself, how do you feel about Davis Mills? So the thing that we talked about, how he was good in the preseason, right? And why you mentioned he gets the ball out of the hand quickly. The reason he does that is because he is like a true first read quarterback. He's locked in on that first read, and that's where the ball's going, or the ball's getting thrown away out of bounds, or he's getting sacked. That is typically what's happening with him, which is why you saw last week so many targets concentrated to Brandon Cooks, because it was obviously his first read. Now, with a week to prepare for that, or a short week to prepare for it, are they going to be over aggressive and jumping that first read? I think they probably will. I think that he will probably adjust and try to not be in on that first read. It's obviously easier said than done. As far as the total here, I have him at 18.8. I've mentioned a couple times, which is why I teased it up. I think that the 43 is potentially in jeopardy. I make it much closer to 44.5, which I believe is where it opened. So I've teased that thing up to 49 on one and 52.5 on the other. So my median number on them is 18.8. Not enough for me to take the under on it. If you ask me to not look at the computer and what I thought, I would say, yes, I would lean towards the under. But the computer tells me that they might be a little better than we expect.
And we always go by the numbers here at the Early Edge, because they may not win every time, but they win a lot more than they lose. Okay, here's what we're doing. Let's re-emphasize our goals here on the show. And there is a reason this is so important as we continue to grow the brand. And I promise you, it's very important. So we've sailed past the first 2 goals. We are now about 100 away from 350 likes. When we do that, I will give away 3. Yes, I've cleared it with the bosses. 3 year-long subs to SportsLine. There is no better value in all of sports betting. So keep hammering that like button. Also, do you like Carolina to cover or Houston? Give me a 1 in the comment section for Carolina. Give me a 2 if you like Houston to cover as well. So we've talked the spread, but you just talked the total, Mikey, but you said you wanted to tease it up. AB, I want to ask you, it's been at 43. Now, last week, I'm trying to remember the game, Mikey, that you were the only one that was on the over, and it sailed on the over, and I can't remember what that game was. You were the contrarian. Of course, you were right. Now, primetime totals this season, just to back up this question, AB, 60, 48, 60, 59, 71-52. The over is 6-0 in primetime games so far this season. So I ask you again, the total at 43.
I'm going to lean to the over here. It's such a low number that, if you look at it and you're somebody who bets totals and you kind of go, you play the first half, second half, where do I want to be number wise, at halftime? If we're at 21 at halftime, you're sitting pretty, right? Like, it's just such a low number that, it's not going to take much to hit it. You're going to need such a long time of punts, turnovers, missed plays. You're just going to need a lot of it. This is, I bet more unders than anybody on the planet, and I wouldn't wish this upon anybody tonight. It's just, it's taking a toothpick and just putting it in your arm. I would lean the over simply because the historicals that are there, and it is just such a low number to hit.
There is nothing worse than betting an under in a primetime game when it's the only game on the docket. I don't mind it on a Saturday when I'm betting 8 college games or a Sunday when I'm betting 6 NFL. But my goodness, there is nothing worse than that tonight. All right, I got 3 questions from the comment section I want to get to for you guys and 3 numbers on props. Let's start with the McCaffrey, Mikey, over 55, and I believe it's right on 55 receiving yards tonight. He went over 80 rushing and receiving separately on Sunday. Do you like this number tonight?
I would lean towards the over on that one. The question, again, that you need to ask yourself is, what do you think of Davis Mills? Obviously, he gets to play at home. There's no elements. It's in a dome. That really helps a lot, which also actually helps trending towards the over a little bit. But the issue here is, if this defense is stopping them, turning the ball over, creating short fields for that offense, it really limits the ability for someone like McCaffrey to rack up those yards on those drives. And then the game gets less competitive. There's no real reason to dump the ball off to him as much. So I think that's why you see such a low number, and you see like a low number on the overall yards there. A lot of that risk is being priced in. If you think the game remains competitive, then absolutely fire away on the Christian McCaffrey props. If the game remains remotely competitive and frankly within that 8 to 10 points for the majority of the game, and it's not a 2 to 3 score game, then he's going to absolutely smash all the props. If they're just hanging around, he's going to go sail over all of these. So the numbers that are out there are basically telling you that it should be a Carolina blowout. I'm in the camp that tends to think that it's close enough that the Texans on their home field can move the ball, put up a few points. So I would go over on that McCaffrey prop.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it'll be similar to what happened with the Packers and the Lions on Monday night, where the Lions stayed competitive for a half, and then the Packers woke up in the second half and really started to flex their muscles a little bit. It kind of feels like that. AB, another YouTube question. DJ Moore, over 68 yards. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think this is going to come down to basically similar to what, the Christian McCaffrey question before here, is that you're almost banking on an explosive play, right? Like, you're looking, it doesn't have to be a 70-yard home run, right? But you're looking at, am I going to get a 25, a 30, a 35-yard play? And I think that's absolutely in play for tonight. I think it's going to be a weird game, honestly. I think that I think me and Mike feel very similar in how this game is going to be. It's going to be closer than people think, although it might not look it on the scoreboard. I think you're going to see shots be taken in this game, in the first quarter, in the second quarter, in the third, and in the fourth, right? So, yeah, I like that over because you have the opportunity to hit on something large that's going, against a defense that could give up that type of play. So, yeah, I'm with it.
All right, we are at 310 likes. I know there's a lot of people watching right now. Hit that like button. All you got to do is close the chat one time, hit the like button, and open the chat right back up. It's very, very easy. All right, another YouTube comment or question. We talked about this one last week, and Prop Stars had a very good answer for it. Mark Ingram over 10.5 rush attempts. Who wants to take this one?
I could take it in just a second. I'm going to pull up where my number actually is. Let's see. Ingram, I have it at 11.7. So I think that it's fine. I think you need the game to be competitive. Ideally, the Texans win the toss or not, maybe not win the toss, but ideally they have the ball first and they're not trailing from the get-go. What's going to happen there with him is I do think I like the attempt number more than I like any of the yardage numbers. I'm actually super high on David Johnson. I have a lot of David Johnson, way overweight there. in terms of daily fantasy exposure to him. And the reason for that is I do think they're going to be trailing by just enough. I think that they're going to have to abandon some of that. And I think he's obviously the better pass catching back. And I think that if the first read's not there, it's going to be an immediate dump to one of the running backs, which is likely going to be David Johnson. So I do not like the Ingram yardage props. I think that if I had to play one, it would be the attempts, because I do think that they'll try. But I don't think it's going to be successful.
I'll say this. I'll jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
I completely agree with M squared here. And I think that when you have a quarterback situation like this and you have a veteran, not only who's been in this league for a long time, but who is legitimately one of the best locker room guys that there is, I think that that's going to get you a few carries just to help out and alleviate somebody who might be a little bit nervous, to be completely honest with you. Like, I think you could steal 2 carries out of that. I completely agree with Micah.
Was that a dog sounder, or was that actually Chief barking? One of the two.
That was Chief barking. His I know people will make fun of me for this, but his dog walker will be here in the next 15-ish minutes. I have a dog walker that takes Chief out on primetime nights because I can't step away right now. And I don't want to step away during the first quarter of the game because that's one of the best money-making opportunities for me with live betting and live props. So I have someone take Chief out, and that's why he barks every stream at the end.
It's so funny when you put all your expenses, your business expenses, you got dog walker, because it matters. You actually make money. People don't understand. We have a very unique job, a fun job, but it's unique. And those are the things you have to do in order to maximize. If you walk out the door and the game starts, you didn't get 5 props in, it can cost you a lot of cash for not doing it. It's happened to me before. It does. It really does. All right. We had a very important person just texted me. Who's our leader? Who's our rock? Who's our heartbeat?
The maestro.
You're damn right. It's the maestro. So he's been watching the show, and he's like, I got to get an official play in on the show. So as of this moment, right here, right now, the maestro is playing the DJ Moore over 68.5 yards on the show tonight. We're going to add it to our official plays. Maestro, thank you very much for sending that in. And don't ever interrupt me in the show again. You know better than that. All right,
hey,
moving on.
Apologies, sir.
All right, a little segment called, we're using M squared as a motivation. We're going to call it tease me. Can you tease me tonight? So we want to know what teaser you might be looking at in the game tonight. Throw it into the comment section. If I like it, I'll read it here on the show. Now, M squared, give us your little teaser right now that you threw out on the morning show today, please.
I pulled the J Smooth because of Chief there. I had to unmute myself real quick. All right. So the teaser that I threw out there this morning, teased the Panthers down to -2. I threw the total up to 49. So I'm going Panthers -2 up to 49. And then if you follow me on Twitter, I did release another one earlier today. I'm not going to be able to get it everywhere, but if you do have access, you can get it. I played Panthers -2.5. Panthers team total over 20.5, the over 33.5, the under 52.5. So I need the game to come in between 34 and 52 points. And then the Texans alternative plus 17.5. So I need them to not lose by more than 17.
Wow. And I believe you call that what could go wrong teaser. What could go wrong teaser?
Yeah. I got some questions. They're all, I call it the donkey of the day just because it's like the 10 large money line favorites in there that brings it down to a very low probability of hitting. This actually has a relatively meaningful chance of hitting, about 30%. So it's totally it's a pretty legitimate thing. I actually texted the group chat there. It's one of my favorite teaser same game parlays of the season so far.
All right. And don't worry, we learned our lesson the very first night of the season. We stopped the show plenty early, so all the plays that we give you, you'll have time to go and get them in so you don't have to step away from the show. The first night we went to like 8:14, and all of us were scrambling here live on the show to get the plays in. Don't worry, we're going to stop around the top of the hour. You'll have plenty of time. We did have a viewer in the YouTube chat said that he did the teaser, Mikey, but he took the total down to 37 and played the over. Do you like that?
I do. I prefer to go the other way on the original teaser, but I do like it. The same game parlay I just mentioned, I need between 34 and 52. So I basically same idea there. Normally it's fine to go either way.
Don't mute him. He's a big part
I
of
won't
the
mute him.
show.
He's loud.
Don't mute
All
him.
right. Chief says dogs are barking tonight in Houston.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, dogs are barking. Come on, go ahead.
So oh man, I already forgot what I was even mentioning with it. But
we're talking about the
like
teasers going down and up. Yeah.
Right. I like it normally if you followed all the primetime shows. I've done it that way, but this time I think that the likely scenario here that could get us in trouble is the Texans are just awful and Carolina comes out here and they're winning. I just don't think it's a good situation. I think that if the defense for Carolina creates a score or two, I think that low number is in trouble pretty quickly.
Right. That's what scares me the most. No, I think M Squared brings up an excellent point. Anybody that's playing any spread, any total tonight, that the scenario where the Texans legitimately can't score, can't move the ball, and the Panthers get up 14 points and just play keep away. Literally just run the ball and just in the game. Like that's your nightmare scenario right there. So that's an excellent point of caution from M Squared.
All right. Well, we are crossing the bottom of the hour at 7:30 on the East Coast, 4:30 out here on the West Coast. Julie, let's go ahead and throw up that full screen one more time because we have just hit 350 likes, and we will have a winner momentarily as soon as we find one. Here are our goals for tonight, and all of you are so good, and you listen so well. We want to get to 500, and then if we get to 500, we're going to give away our anytime picks touchdown for tonight, which, as you know, is not just a throw it out into the wind. We've already hit a plus 4,000 winner on the first Sunday night. And then the very next night, we had a plus 1,200 play as well. We'll give those out if we get to 500 likes. We just surpassed 350. If we get to 600, that unattainable 600, what could go wrong, as Mikey says? We'll give away a free Early Edge t-shirt in addition to all of that. We had a very important comment from Jesse Greenwald in the comments section. He says, Coach, can we get that goatee on some pay window merch? Very interesting. Very interesting. I once had my goatee rated the greatest goatee in America. That's a true story. Have you ever had that, AB? Best scruff in America? Best scruff in America?
I've had a lot of scruff. It's never been voted best or good whatsoever. So I'll tell you that.
All right. Let's get into, I think it's about time. So it's just about 32 past the hour, and we want to, at the end of the show, get to as many questions as possible. Let's get into our plays right now, guys, if that's okay. All right. Mikey, you just gave your teaser from this morning, and is there anything else that you like right now for the game tonight?
There's one that I've had my eye on here. I need to see where the market has moved on the receiving yards. Let's see. Yeah, Robbie Anderson. The minus 120 is my problem. I lean towards the over on Robbie Anderson's receiving yards. It's at 45.5, minus 120 right now. I do think this number should be closer to 48. So that's more of a lean than an actual play. But I might end up playing it. I think there might be another play on the show that I also like. If you don't like that one, I do like I believe the longest reception for Robbie Anderson, which should be anything less than 20 yards is something I'm going to be interested in.
Prop stars likes that as a lean. 18.5 is the number on that, by the way. 18.5 on Robbie Anderson. AB, what do you got tonight, pal?
Got two plays here. First one, Texans commit over 1.5 turnovers. I think that we're going to see an interception at some point. And you look, they put the ball on the ground 3 times already this season. I don't think that the fumbles happen. Like if you do that consistently, that's who you are. I think that there's going to be an opportunity there. So we've got that one. The second one, Texans kicker, Joey Sly. I got it down. I worked all day. I worked all day on it. I'm telling you, I worked all day on it. And I've got him over 5.5 points tonight. And I was trying to find, the reason is this, I was trying to find almost any scenario in this game to where how can we get a little bit of money on the Texans of what we think could naturally happen. So if they go chaos theory, and put up points all over the board, should be good. If they find themselves in a tight game, they're absolutely going to take opportunities at field goals. And our only scenario is if they literally just score 0 points, which I don't think is going to happen. So, yeah, I'm going to go Texans commit over 1.5 turnovers and Joey Sly over 5.5 points.
You just gave the Houston Texans the kiss of death. I don't think 0 points is going to happen. 27-0, worst Thursday night game in history, is coming down the pike. Every under hits because of you, AB. We know that's going to happen.
That was my plan all along. Unders hit, maybe.
All right, we just sailed over 400 likes. Keep pounding that like button if you haven't yet. I've got 3 winners. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here we go. At Walker590. At Walker590. At Little Kiss 02. Little Kiss. I loved working with Bill Raftery. And at JRS334 ATL. The 3 of you. No worries. The jeweler's got you. He'll give you all the deets. Welcome to the SportsLine family. You have all access to everything for the next year. Incredible, incredible value. If we get to 500, we're going to do the Van Jefferson Memorial Touchdown giveaway. Oh, I love that's one of my favorite new things. It's one of my favorite new things. All right, I've got a couple of leans here because our guy Alex, who, if you don't know who Alex is, at PropStars with a Z on the Twitter, the man is a beast. He's an absolute legend when it comes to props. Last week on the show, he just went 10-1. That's all he did, 10-1. That's it. Now, he's got a couple of leans tonight in between trips to the bathroom, apparently. He's got a little stomach issue going on and can't keep anything down. He's leaning Philip Lindsey anytime touchdown, and he's also leaning Mikey, the Robbie Anderson longest reception over 18.5 yards. Guys, how do we feel about that Philip Lindsey? Now, he plays for the Texans now. A lot of people think he's still in Denver. He's not in Denver. He's in Houston. Now, everything you guys have said is Carolina has a great defense. They're going to have a hard time moving the football. They might not be able to score. How do we think this prop could play out? It's right around plus 350, I believe, was the last time I saw this number. AB, you want to start?
Yeah, if we're looking at, Houston Texans rushing yards, Houston Texans rushing attempts, you're playing with fire here. Like you're going to need them to be up in the second half trying to kill this game out. I'm not saying it can't happen, but you need a lot of things to go correctly in your manner for this one. I'm staying away, but if Alex is leaning, who in the world am I to even question what he's looking at, right? But you just need a lot of things to happen to get in that arena.
Mikey?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of I'll give my take on it first of all, and then I've added a play because of the take on this one.
Cool.
I don't necessarily agree with Philip Lindsey. I think it's going to be David Johnson that is the one that gets the additional work here. But I think it really hammers home the fact that I don't think it's a Mark Ingram game. I think he can get some of those rushing attempts. I don't think he's going to be heavily involved, though. I think it's going to be all 3 of the backs on the field, but I really think it's David Johnson in the passing game. So looking back at my numbers here, I actually have this one up to 21.7. You can get David Johnson over 17.5 receiving yards right now. I'm going to play this one right now. I'm locking it in as we speak, literally. But I am playing over 17.5 receiving yards for David Johnson. And I like that PropStars is basically on Philip Lindsey, which tells me we both think that it's not Mark Ingram tonight.
By the way, for those of you that are new to the Early Edge Live, yes, we're the only show in America where we actually make bets live on the show in our own personal accounts. We have the greatest bosses of all time. Of all time! Of all time! I'm telling you that right now. All right, YouTube question. If we think Carolina is going to come out and just jump out to a quick lead and then play prevent defense or keep the ball away, I should say, Walter says, what about the first half line of Carolina -4.5? I've already played it. True transparency, because I do think that's how this game is going to play out. AB, do you agree with me?
I think that if any type of chaos theory happens, it means that Houston scores early, scores fast, first half, first quarter. Other than that, I don't see them staying in this game later. So me personally, I'm staying the hell away out of the first half because I think that that's when the most volatility could happen. But also on the other side of that coin is that if Carolina is going to own this game, they own it from beginning to end, and you're probably going to be sitting very, very pretty at halftime.
All right. We want to know what you think because we really want this show to be interactive. I know I say it a lot, but the show is growing. I want you to understand what this show we want it to turn into. So right now in the comment section, let's change from the 1 and the 2. We already know who you think's going to win. We've tallied those numbers up. And I want you to leave your favorite player prop in the comment section on our YouTube page, or your first touchdown score that you like tonight in our comment section on the YouTube page. And we'll hit a couple of them and see what we like. Now, I've got a couple of other things to get to. Brandon Cooks, anytime touchdown. Thoughts?
I totally get it. Obviously, he's being force fed the targets, right? We look at the ridiculous, 50% target share with Mills in the game. I get it. The thing that's unfortunate about that is the Carolina Panthers know that that's where the football is going as well. That's why I have interest in David Johnson. I think it's not going to be just first read only. If it is first read only for Mills, he's going to turn the ball over. I think he's going to check down to the backs a little bit. I think he's going to look for the secondary receivers. I love Anthony Miller. Someone asked about a DFS play, value play. Anthony Miller hasn't played a snap yet this season. Andre Roberts is the guy that's been out there. I think Anthony Miller is going to come in and replace and take that role. He's one of my favorite value plays in DFS. So I think he's going to get some targets. I think it's going to be Chris Conley. And, unfortunately for the Texans, everyone in the building knows that they want to throw the ball to Brandon Cooks. So okay. I'm not playing his anytime touchdown.
I'll give you a crazy one if you want to hear a crazy one.
I do.
Look at Davis Mills, anytime TD. Look at Davis Mills rushing yards. And the reason I say it is this. 1, rushing yards, it's probably going to be 4.5. It's going to be something extremely low. In a game where you have a young quarterback that could get, a little rattled pretty easily, I could see him trying to do anything and everything that he can just to get the ball 5 yards down the field. Number 2, I could see the Houston Texans in a situation to where they get to the 2 or the 1. And look, it sounds like I'm going to make a joke. I'm not. This man has a Mike Glennon neck. I'm serious. It's a foot long, right? I'm telling you, I could see him at the 1.5 or the 1, just taking it and going in. Honestly, I could see something like that. So I'm not saying put your house on it, anything like that, but take a look. There could be some weird things that he does tonight. Yeah.
You're so funny, man. You are so funny. If you're just tuning in, we're getting close to 7:45 Eastern time. We got about 15 minutes left in the show as we hit as many props as you want, as many questions as you want. I've got another number that I've already played already myself. So I did a little research. You two aren't the only ones that can look stuff up. I can do it too. So Philip Lindsey, last week he had 5 carries for 2 yards and 2 carries for 5 yards. The first week, he had 8 carries for 25 yards. So his prop tonight is 21.5. I played the under simply because usually on Thursday Night Football, they like to use more running backs because the bodies just aren't quite ready to go in for a full load, whatever that full load is. So I played the under 21.5 yards. Who likes it? Who doesn't like it?
That's where I would lean for sure. Definitely where I lean. I've pretty much been saying it all night. I think it's a David Johnson game. So totally
agree completely.
You like that? What about the tight end? They have Dan Arnold. So it's gonna be Sam Darnold to Dan Arnold. I hope that doesn't happen tonight. But his prop is over 2.5 catches. What would we go there?
All right, this was fascinating to me. Yeah, M Squared. Go ahead. You go first.
Oh, no, you go. I was just looking it up where I've got it. Okay. I have it at 1.8. So
and I want to hear his answer after this. Okay. The odd thing with Carolina is that you have such a dynamic running back in Christian McCaffrey that he eats what normally would be tight end receptions for any other normal team, right? Alvin Kamara does the same thing in New Orleans, but you're sitting at a number that's 2.5. Mm-hmm. That one's fascinating. M Squared, you're going to have a better answer than me. I'd love to hear it because this offense is built much differently than almost every other NFL team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing the you're talking about Dan Arnold still, I assume, at the 2.5. Yes. I have it at 1.8. I don't think so. I think you need what should be a more competitive game for that to happen. That's where I would be looking to it. Otherwise, here, I think things are going to be moving a little too easy unless Sam Darnold's just bored and they want to get this prop for him. I don't see any reason that they're going to be targeting him heavily. And like I said, unless the game's just more competitive than we think it is. So not something that I'd be looking to invest in.
So AB's our college guy. Mikey can do it all. We did have a YouTube comment. How do you guys feel about cross sports, NFL, college, and parlay two together? So App State and the Carolina Panthers. AB?
I like it. I mean, for me, it's if you like plays, you like plays. It doesn't really matter to me, regardless of sport. If you're looking at just a 2-team parlay, absolutely, it's a lot of fun. And I believe App State's already put some points on the board now. Marshall's going to have to get it together. That's a tough loss last week, but yeah, I'm not against it. If you like both plays, yeah, throw them together.
Yeah,
Mikey, how do you feel about that?
I mean, they're completely independent events, so I think it's totally fine. Like, there's one doesn't impact the other in any way, unless from App State, there are some big App State fans for Carolina that are watching the game distracted right now in pregame. That's about the only way that these events are correlated. So if you like each play, yeah, absolutely no problem with
it. Tony, YouTube comment, Panthers first half team total 13.5. This one really intrigues me. AB.
Personally, I love this play. I think that you're going to get a Panthers offense that really tries to come out and just own this game from beginning to end. They're going to be as aggressive as possible as they can with Christian McCaffrey. You're going to get some nice yardage here. You're looking at either 2 touchdowns, or you're going to have to go the tough route here of a touchdown and 3 field goals. Nobody wants that. I think that they could do it. I think you could look at 7 points in the first quarter, 7 points in the second quarter if you just want to keep it even. Yeah, I like this one. I think that they absolutely come out aggressive.
All right, we are up to about 450 likes as the show is starting to wind down. We need everybody who hasn't hit the like button to hit it so we can give you our Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown of the game picks tonight. Now, this is where M Squared, I really need your help, because last Monday night, Jared Goff's over-under on passing yards was right around 256, and we know they had an offense. He threw for 357 yards the first week. Mills' number tonight is 244.5. This screams to me $150, $160 under. What am I missing here on this one?
So yeah, in my median numbers, it's 197, which is pretty high. Honestly, I was kind of shocked that it was even that high. The issue with it is the game script it honestly has 49ers Lions written all over it. This game is going to be out of hand until it's not out of hand. The Panthers are on the road here. They're going to be a team that's going to be playing a little conservatively. They're kind of checked out. Obviously, the crowd is not in it for them, just like the 49ers were when they were on the road against the Lions. And the issue is Mills can rack up yards very quickly when he's got all these garbage time drives. I don't see, unless he gets hurt, this is his game, right? He is playing this game all the way through. So that's my only cause for concern, is through sheer volume and having to pass the ball, because I've already told you Mark Ingram's probably not going to have success on the ground, that I'm a little worried about it. I am shocked to see such a massive difference between my number and the Sportsbook's number. So might end up betting that one here in the next 15 minutes. I hadn't even looked at it because it wasn't one typically the quarterback numbers are really, really, really efficient with the models. So it's not something that I look at very often. So I'm going to have to address this one here in the next 15 minutes, because that, even my number, which is higher than you thought, is still a good 50 yards.
It almost feels like, and this happens a lot more in college because there's so many games on a Saturday, because the market can miss. That happens, and that's where professionals like you guys come in and you nail those numbers. This almost feels like they forgot that Tyrod Taylor wasn't playing tonight. It almost feels that way. It does. It does. It's like, oh, Tyrod 244, and they're like, oops, whoops. Okay.
Is 244 an alt? Is that what someone said? Okay. So there's a comment in there. It says 244.5 is an alternate line. Let me.
Okay. So maybe that's it. I'm gonna have to. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
204. Yeah. So that makes way more sense with my 194. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. I knew you. I knew you wouldn't be that off. Your model wouldn't be that.
At least I don't have to work harder now in the next 15 minutes.
We're gonna play. We're like, oh, wait a second.
Good catch in the chat there. Appreciate you.
You guys are great in the chat. You guys are really, really good, dialed in, and we really appreciate that. I just wrote down a number over 66.5, but I can't read the name that I just wrote down because I wrote it so fast. It was from somebody in the chat. If Julia can find that, it was a number I really liked, and it was a name, but I can't
Brandon
read
Cooks?
my writing. There you go. How about Cooks? There you go. Cooks over 66.5. AB, Mikey.
I don't love it. That's all I got. I don't love it.
You don't love it.
So
You don't love it.
I got the number at 68, the edge, and this situation, it's a term that I use. Some may not be familiar with it, but this is a very fragile situation with this quarterback. It's not a normal situation. So it's harder for me to trust these like median numbers, but my median number is 68. That's not enough of an edge to go play it. If I had to make a lean, I would lean that way. My only caution is everyone in the building, everyone at home watching knows that Brandon Cooks is going to try to get the football. Mm-hmm. And with a quarterback that is not used to making multiple reads, he's going to make bad throws trying to force it in there, in my opinion. So I think he's going to hit the secondary receivers a lot more. I've got exposure to him in DFS, but I'm not playing any Brandon Cooks props tonight.
Would you guys say that because of the unknown, because when you have an NFL team that's starting a quarterback that the other team can prepare for, that you're almost better off just staying away from a lot of the props of that team because we just don't know what's going to happen? They all could hit or they all could miss. Is this one of those positions and opportunities to say, you know what, the best bet is the bet you don't make?
Yeah, it is. It's also where I look to the defense, right? Like if your book has defensive tackles, like total amounts, and you don't have to get a specific player, because you're either going to have one of two things happening. You're either going to have the Panthers defense all over Mills and the Texans offense, forcing 3-and-outs, turnovers, etc., or you're going to have the chaos theory, and you're going to have the Texans on offense on the field all day long, going up and down the field, which is going to rack up tackles. I say it all the time, in the SEC for the last 15 years, the leading tackler is always playing at Vanderbilt, right? Because their defense is always on the field, right? So there's a correlation to be had, but you kind of have to play it out in your head and think, okay, how do I go about this and play both sides? So in this theory, if anybody plays defensive props, this is the time to do it.
All right, very good. All right, keep pounding that like button. We are 22 away from releasing our our first time touchdown tonight. So just pound that like button. Also, over in the comment section, leave your best prop bet. Leave your Twitter handle too. It's very important as we start to put this show together. We want to know everybody that's following us so we can reach out to you with all the content. And Cody Sanders says, I love this show. Guess what, Cody? We love you too. We love all of you that have made the Early Edge the preeminent daily sports betting show in all of the land. All right. You know what? I can call it quits whenever I want to call it quits. And I feel like right now is a good time. So let's do. And here's why. I want you guys to give me your best play for tonight and tell me here's why. AB, it's your segment. So you start first.
Texans commit over 1.5 turnovers. It's going to happen in some sort of fashion, whether it's 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. It could be 2 of either. But the Panthers defense is that good. They lead the league in legitimately every single category that is out there. And if the Texans offense is constantly back on the field because the Panthers are scoring and running it up, there's going to be more opportunities for it. Texans over 1.5 turnovers. Absolutely.
All right. Mikey.
For me, it's going to be that teaser. It's going to be the -2 and the total to under 49. And to quote AB, here's why. The NFL is the most efficient market in the world, especially in a primetime game. That's what we want. When you're betting teasers, we want the market to be as efficient as it possibly can be. I know that you might think I'm crazy for saying it's efficient with a quarterback we have never seen. However, football in the NFL is still a very efficient market. That's what we want. That's why you see me betting teasers on primetime games. I'm betting on those markets to be efficient, and that's what I think it is tonight.
All right, very good. Quick YouTube comment. Where do I find turnovers on sportsbook pages? AB, you want to take this one?
Yep, got it. So if you're on Caesars, go to your app or browser on the website. If you go inside the game, go scroll all the way to the right. You'll see home and away. Click either one. Scroll down. You'll see turnovers Texans, turnovers Panthers. Find all your options right there.
All right. And then, boom, right as you were talking, guess what we did? guess what we did? Our entire fan base came through. We just hit the unattainable, they said. Can't happen, they said. 500 likes on the show. That means we are going to reward you with a little extra, just some fun bets to make. Because on primetime games, you don't want to just make the hardcore money-making bets. You want to have something that if it hits, you can say, you know what? That was incredible. So, Mikey, give me another plus. I don't know. You've already given me a plus 4,000. So you're good for the year as far as I'm concerned. But what do you like tonight?
All right, I'll give you the most realistic one first that has the biggest value in the simulations. That's going to be Robbie Anderson, plus 1,000, 10-1. That's where I would be going with it. The other one, I've mentioned his name a couple of times here. I think the number's a little short. If you remember, Anthony Miller played for the Chicago Bears. I think he's a great wide receiver. I think that if the Texans are going to score, it's going to be on a shot, and it's going to be something down the field. It's not going to be to Brandon Cooks, who's going to be drawing all of the attention. The only thing I can say here is we don't know. He's active tonight. He hasn't played a single snap all year. I'm making a very large bet on my daily fantasy exposure that he's going to come in and be wide receiver number 2 instantly. So I like Anthony Miller, 22-1. Send me angry tweets if he doesn't even play, but he's active tonight. I think he's going to take that role from Andre Roberts, and I think he's a great bet to get in the end zone if the Texans get in the end zone at all tonight.
All right, very good. AB, talk to me.
You know what I'm going to go with? And I don't have the number, Jeweler. You have to pull it up. Give me the Panthers defense. Give me the Panthers defense. We're going out there on a limb. I think we see a wild start to this game. Yeah, Panthers defense.
Okay, Panthers defense. We'll get that number before we go off the air because I got a little housekeeping to do before we say goodbye and then give everybody about 15 minutes to get all of their plays in. So in addition to giving out the touchdown, I'm going to give out one more SportsLine sub just because I'm in a giving mood tonight. So at MMERS7, MMERS7, you are the last winner tonight of a year-long sub. The Jeweler will let you know all the details on how you can be a part of our family, and welcome. All right, Jeweler, let's throw that full screen up. Here are our official plays for tonight on Thursday Night Football. Oh, man, look at that. Look at that. AB on Joey Sly, over 5.5 points. It could be 2 field goals, field goal, 3 extra points, which none of us hope for. Texans over 1.5 turnovers. Then M squared, a beautiful teaser, same game teaser. If you're not familiar with it, it's one of the most popular ways to bet now in football. Panthers bringing the number down to 2 and then taking the total up to 49 and playing the under. That's minus 120. You got to hit both in order to win. Then David Johnson over 17.5 receiving yards. You heard Mikey all hour. He thinks David Johnson is going to be very, very active tonight. Now, Zach Attack. He's on the Panthers. This number was minus 7 a couple of days ago. You could buy it down to 7, but it's going to cost you a whole lot, like minus 160, minus 170. We still like it at 8. The Lady Killer. He likes the Panthers-Texans under 44. It's on the opposite of what M squared said. RJ White, he's the number 1 capper at SportsLine. That from our Tuesday mega preview. He likes the Panthers also. And then the Maestro weighing in live on the show. DJ Moore over 68.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Boys, as always, a great show. Thank you to all of you watching at home. We only have one thing left to do. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the Houston pay window. For M squared, for AB, for the Maestro, for the Lady Killer, Prop Stars, get better. We'll see you tomorrow. The Jeweler, Zach, the entire team. What a team we have. We love it. We do it for you. Enjoy the game. Tell your friends. This is your daily sports betting show of record. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern time. RJ, Prop Stars, our prop special. Oh, baby, I can't wait. This is The Early Edge. Good luck. Do you want best bets in your feed every single day? All you have to do is hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Early Edge.